Most terrifying natural disasters. Giant hailstorm caught on 4K camera 2023. The natural environment and human civilization can both be significantly impacted by hailstorms. Property damage is one of hailstorms' most serious effects. Hailstones can be as little as microscopic pellets or as big as golf balls, and they can seriously harm vehicles, homes, and other types of property. Cars can get dented or even ruined, glass can get broken or cracked, and roofs can get pierced or torn off. It's hard to replace or repair a damaged property, and it can be extremely expensive as well. This can leave a long-lasting impact on people and communities. Hailstorms not only cause property damage, but also have a big influence on agriculture. Hailstones can break branches, bruise fruit, and harm leaves, which lowers crop yield and quality. The effects on farmers and agricultural economies may be profound. Hailstorms can occasionally completely destroy crops, resulting in a large financial loss. So, in our very first list today, that will highlight this disaster is a hailstorm in Texas. Thousands of people in Tacoma were left without power Thursday afternoon when hail and heavy winds raced through the area. As the hailstorm moved across Tacoma, there were a number of accidents reported. On US 75, a collision was reported. On Thursday, thousands of power outages were also recorded in Oklahoma and Texas. In Cook County, Texas, power has largely been restored, but as of Thursday night, almost 800 houses in Grayson County are still without power. Nearly 3,000 houses in Fannin County were without power because of the wreck that these storms brought with them. Over 100 houses were without power in each of Oklahoma's Choctaw and Pushmata counties, and more than 4,000 outages have been reported in McCurtain County. Texas has damaging winds and hail the size of tennis balls. There were more than 60 hail reports across the South, including softball-sized hail with a diameter of 4.5 inches in Belmead, Texas, and a width of 4 inches in Waco, Texas. The Anthony neighborhood in Florida received roughly 2.5 inches of hail. A distinct slight risk severe weather zone, which the forecast center described as having significant hail, 2+ inches diameter, may occur, was present in parts of Florida, including Orlando. Other areas of Florida, including Miami and Fort Lauderdale, were also at a low danger. A supercell thunderstorm also dumped enormous hail, including one stone reaching 4.5 inches in diameter, the largest hailstone documented in the United States so far this year, and many tornado warnings in the Waco area. In addition to 3 tornado warnings surrounding Waco, a supercell thunderstorm on Wednesday evening produced huge hail, including one stone with a diameter of 4.5 inches, the biggest hailstorm recorded in the United States so far this year. More than 3 inches of rain fell in a matter of hours in central Texas as a result of the thunderstorm's torrential downpour. Communities near Waco received flash flood warnings from the Regional National Weather Service office. An automobile that had driven around a barricade and became caught in high waters was rescued, according to the Groesbeck Police Department. First responders managed to safely remove every passenger from the car's roof, and no injuries were mentioned. More than 100 reports of severe weather from Texas through Georgia and Florida have been sent to NOAA Storm Prediction Center. Power outages can also result during hailstorms, especially if they are accompanying strong winds or lightning strikes. Hailstones can destroy transformers and bring down power lines, rendering wide areas without electricity. This may cause disruptions in daily life and make it more challenging to get to hospitals and other vital locations. Hailstorms can also interrupt travel plans since they can make roads slick and hazardous and affect planes by causing hail damage. Spain experienced a hailstorm. A hailstorm in Cahigan, Murcia is captured on camera. Nearly the entire country of Spain was on high alert due to forecasts of a severe storm that would bring strong winds, significant amounts of snow, rain, and turbulent seas. One person was killed by the storm, an 80-year-old man who went missing during the storm on Monday night and whose body was later found at the harbor of Bermeo, a Basque town. Emergency personnel had to save a busload of kids caught on a flooded road in the neighboring town of Sondica. The storm started on Monday and lasted till Friday. Though mountains across the nation had already gone white, temperatures dropped to their lowest point with the arrival of an Arctic air mass. As rivers approached capacity, areas in northern Spain started to activate flood measures. While this was happening, nearly the entire nation was under a watch or warning for high winds that were expected to reach speeds of above 100 kilometers per hour. In addition, most of Spain's coastal areas were on high alert for big waves. The waves in Galicia were as high as 9 meters. Spain experienced its first substantial cold spell of the season prior to this, with winter and autumn being unusually warm. The storm had advantages for Spain's energy situation, even though the temperatures were kept consumers from using a lot of gas to heat their houses. Thanks to the wind and hydroelectricity produced by the heavy winds and rain on Tuesday, the wholesale price of power fell to €4.48 or $4.86 per megawatt hour. The natural environment and human society can both be significantly impacted by hailstorms. It is important to remember this. It is crucial to take precautions to prepare for and lessen these effects, such as safeguarding property, diversifying crop production, and creating emergency plans to deal with disruptions like power outages. Individuals and communities can lessen the effects of hailstorms and save themselves and their property by following these precautions. France experienced a giant hailstorm. It is the turn of March to remind us how our vulnerable climate has become after the record-breaking hail season in France in 2022 and one of the worst droughts that Western Europe has ever faced. Storms that produced huge hail crossed the majority of France on March 9th and 13th of 2023 near Limoges, France. During the first event on March 9th, hail of up to 6 centimeters in diameter was reported. Since at least 2000, there have never been reports of such big hail in March in France. More hail-producing storms were seen during the second event on March 13th. However, the hail was slightly less, only reaching 3 centimeters in diameter. Again, this is unusual for March. Additionally, across Spain, France, and Germany in Western Europe, more than 100,000 lightning strikes were recorded. All of the sources of lightning data agreed that this was a record-breaking occurrence, comparable to a particularly stormy summer day in Europe. Additionally, the storm made things difficult for passengers as numerous rail services were canceled or disrupted. Before leaving, passengers were encouraged to double-check their itinerary. Over 700 calls about the storm, including complaints of water, downed trees, and damaged structures, were made to the Paris Fire Department. To remove debris and restore safety to the impacted areas, emergency personnel worked non-stop. Paris, the capital of France, was severely damaged and disrupted on Monday afternoon by a hailstorm. During the storm, which lasted for around 30 minutes, Gault-sized hailstones were seen falling from the sky. Numerous car incidents were caused by the hailstorm as drivers tried to handle the hazardously slick road conditions. According to reports, several automobiles suffered damages, including dented roofs and broken glass. Additionally, the storm made things difficult for passengers and numerous rail services were canceled or disrupted. Before leaving, passengers were encouraged to double-check their itinerary. Over 700 calls about the storm, including complaints of water, downed trees, and damaged structures, were all made to the Paris Fire Department. To remove debris and restore safety to the impacted areas, emergency personnel worked non-stop. Paris, the capital of France, was severely damaged and disrupted on Monday afternoon by a hailstorm. During the storm, which lasted for around 30 minutes, golf-sized hailstones were seen falling from the sky. Numerous car accidents were caused by the hailstorm as drivers tried to handle the hazardously slick road conditions. According to reports, several automobiles suffered damage, including dented roofs and broken glass. In France, hailstorms can happen, especially in the center and southeast parts of the country. These areas are particularly susceptible to hailstorms because of their proximity to the Alps and the Mediterranean Sea. During the summer, when warm, moist air masses from the Mediterranean Sea clash with cooler air masses from the north. France typically experiences its worst hailstorms. These encounters have the potential to spawn hailstone-producing thunderstorms. Numerous severe hailstorms have struck France in recent years, resulting in extensive damage to crops and property. For instance, in June 2019, a hailstorm damaged homes, automobiles, and vines in the Burgundy area of France. Millions of euros were thought to have been spent on the damages. In a similar vein, a hailstorm damaged vehicles, houses, and businesses in the Lyon region of France in May 2020. While hailstorms are less frequent in France than in some other countries, they can nevertheless happen and cause enormous damage. So, if people choose to live in the area that is known for its reason to be susceptible to these hails and storms, it is necessary for people and communities to take preventive measure to safeguard themselves and their property from the effects of hailstorm. Therefore, you must be educated, make your home ready for any disruption, and be aware of safe places to seek refuge.